Hey everybody, it's been a little while since I've done a video, but I figured I would do something a little different this time. Um, I wanted to share with you maybe a way that we can serve and connect better with our Heavenly Father during this COVID-19 time. I know I miss you. I love seeing a lot of you out and about walking, but there's a lot of you we don't see. And I know this has been hard and we don't know how much longer this will be, but we're just glad that we um, can share with you a little bit via Facebook. Anyway, hopefully this will be a good message today. I want to base my thoughts off of this. This is from President Nelson's talk, Hear Him, from General Conference. He has talked about all of the different ways that we could hear him, and he said this. He said, when these temporary COVID-19 restrictions are lifted, please schedule regular time to worship and serve in the temple. Every minute of that time will bless you and your family in ways nothing else can. What a powerful promise that if we're needing blessings in our lives and we don't know where else to get them, we can get those blessings from being in the temple. Every minute in the temple will not only bless us, but it'll bless our families, I think, in ways that we don't understand already. He then goes on to say, take time to ponder what you hear and feel when you are there. Ask the Lord to teach you how to open the heavens to bless your life and the lives of those you love and serve. While worshiping in the temple is presently not possible, I invite you to increase your participation in family history, including family history research and indexing. I promise that as you increase your time in the temple and family history work, you will increase and improve your ability to hear him. And I know that's true. I know I've talked a little bit about family history work before, but really temple and family history work are interconnected. All of the same blessings apply, whether we're in the temple or doing the family history work. We need to do them both, but while we can't do both, let's at least do the family history work like our prophet has asked. So I want to talk a little bit today about how to do some simple family history tasks, and I want to make it simple. I don't want to burden us all with details. You know, I often say this, I love family history, but I hate genealogy work. And people might think that's kind of weird, but genealogy is the boring part. The research, the creating all of those big old books and doing the stuff, having to learn other languages, you know, and family history just isn't that hard anymore. And I want to show you today how easy and simple it is for us um, to participate in family history work. So we talked about the app a few Fifth Sundays ago, the Family Tree app, but I want to talk about one specific section of it called tasks, where we attach sources to the tree. Think of when you were in high school or college, you had to write research papers and you had to prove what you said was true by putting your sources, citing your sources at the end. Well, the same goes for family history, right? Grandma might say that we were related to George Washington, but how do you know that unless you have the documents to prove it? And so not only are we trying to prove the tree is the way it is, but also those records can help us find lots of family members to do the temple work for in a very quick manner. So I want to kind of walk you through how to do that today, and hopefully this will not take forever, but we'll kind of just get started. So first, I wanted to explain a little bit about indexing. What is indexing? You've probably heard indexing. That quote I just read, President Nelson said, participate in indexing. I'm actually not going to talk about how to do it today, but I want you to understand what it is. Over on the left-hand side, there's been records created for hundreds of years, whether that's in like US censuses, like we're going through right now. The Constitution requires us to take a census where we write down everybody's name and some information about them every 10 years. There's records created when people are born, when they die, when they get married, other major events in their lives. Churches keep records. So for a long time, all these records were written on paper. In the 50s, we moved to the image in the middle here. This is a roll of microfilm. You might remember some of that. In the 50s, they spent a lot of time taking pictures of all these records and putting them on microfilm. And that's stored up in the Granite Mountain Records Vault. So that's a picture of all the rows and rows of microfilm in the filing cabinets. And so it stayed there for a long time. You used to have to go down to the Family History Center at the Stake Center and order up some microfilm and look through it and spend hours manually combing through it. Well, indexing said, we can fix this with the use of computers. And so they started taking these rows and rows of microfilm and digitizing them. Basically, they were taking the microfilm and taking a picture of each record so that they could store that on a computer. But the one interesting thing about that, if you understand how computers work, computers can't read images. Computers can only read text that is typed in. And so even if there's text on an image, the computer can't read that. And so what we've done then is we get these digitized images, like over here on the right-hand side, and there's a picture on the computer. So indexing is a process of somebody sitting down and literally reading the text on the picture and then typing it into their computer. And they do that line by line. And there are literally, thanks to all the volunteers in the church, there are millions of records indexed every year. So that way we can go in and do a search and really quickly find the information we need instead of having to scroll through microfilm. But that enabled something really cool for us to be able to do. I want you to think about, like, there were two filing cabinets, and you can't quite see that image because it's right under me. But those who have indexed all that information, think of that in the computer's brain, it's like one filing cabinet. And then in the computer's brain, there's another separate filing cabinet. That's all the information we've put in family trees. That's things your grandma did, or your aunt, or maybe you did it. You wrote those pedigree charts for years, and then eventually they've been transferred over into the computer in this family tree filing cabinet over here on the left-hand side. So the cool thing is, because the computer knows about both sets of information, all day long the computer pulls out files from one and the other and compares them to each other. And it can do this fast at like millions of files a second, where it would take us a long time to manually compare. So it compares those files, and then when it says, oh, hey, I found a match, or it comes up with this little blue icon that you see here. And that blue icon represents what the computer thinks is a match, but the computer can never be 100% sure. There's always a judgment call, and computers don't make judgment calls. So the computer needs us to help make that judgment call in order to say, yeah, this is a match. So it produces a little blue icon when it's 95% sure. So these record hints, which I'll show you in a second, only 1 out of every 20 will be wrong. You can be confident that 19 are correct. And so we just have to go in and make that final judgment call for the computer. What's cool is it's fun because we can really quickly do this, but also you find lots of members who you didn't know about in your family. And I'll show you a little bit about that today. And so when it presents these matches, we're simply coming together, like taking two file folders, and we're just going to paper clip them together so that everyone knows, okay, from here on out, this record is talking about this person. So I want to show you how we do that in a practical sense, but I hope that big picture idea makes sense to you. And so what I'm going to do And bear with me for a second. I'm going to um, actually have to stop my video and make my cell phone the presenter, and we'll just go right into the Family Tree app. So give me a moment to pull this out. Or pull this up. We'll share our screen and do a Zoom broadcast. And we'll see if, here we go. Okay, so I'll just hide myself over here for a second. Actually, excuse me. Yeah, not sure why that's not working, but anyway, let's come over here and we'll go back to the home screen of my phone. So you'll see there's a few apps here. We're going to click on this white family search app called Family Tree, and you can see that there, and it pulls up my pedigree. Now you might see pictures of your family, and go ahead and scroll through that. This is kind of fun. If you zoom out, you can set it to be a fan chart, and I'll show you how to do a little bit here. But actually, the place we want to start is tasks. If you click down at the bottom, it's that second icon that says tasks. This is a list of everything that needs to be done in your tree, and it's fun if you'll start there. It will actually give you a lot of stuff to do. If you look down here, you see some green temples, you see some blue icons like I was talking about. Those are the record hints that I'll show you how to do. Pretty neat to look down just how much work there is to do. And this is interesting because I do a lot of family history work. I typically add 1,000 to 2,000 pieces of information to Family Search every year. I do a lot of family history, but still there's all of this information. So because the computer knows that your family history is never done. Now up at the top, you can search for certain people, but you can also filter by all. You see we're on all. If you hit temple on the end, it will just show you people who have temple opportunities. And then hints, if it would just show you primarily those who have hints. So let's stick on hints because this is a fun way where you can do family history in 5-minute bursts. I do this whenever I have a spare moment. I try to attach 1 or 2 records a day. Let me show you how that's done. And I was actually looking ahead a little bit, down to William Mason Bell. Okay, William Mason Bell, I can actually see how I'm related to him by clicking on his name. And then up in the corner, there are 3 dots. I can click on those and it'll say view my relationship. And it shows exactly how I'm related. And so he's my 5th great uncle, which is kind of cool. So let's see if we can help William out. So we could either go back one more to the screen or click on the blue dot here next to his name. But I'll go back one more because from the screen, if you just go ahead and click on the blue dot by his name, it's going to pull up a list of all the records that need to be attached for him. This is a United States Census record from 1850. So literally 150 years ago, when they did a census like is going on today, people went around to people's houses, they knocked on their door and asked them who lived there, how old they were, and what they did for an occupation, and they wrote it down. And so we have all those digitized through indexing today. So if I click on it, it opens up some information. You can quickly browse. I find this view isn't super helpful, but the first information is just stuff the census had about William Bell himself. If you scroll down a little bit, household, it says, look, there's William Bell, there's Elizabeth Bell, that's probably his wife, and then those 3 are probably his children. Let's go in and look and hit compare. Now, if the internet will cooperate, let me go back one more. Oh, there we are. Compare. Okay, so here we have William Bell. If you'll look at the color at the top where it says United States Census in blue. That's the record. So everything on the left-hand side will come from that that census record. Everything on the green, where it says family tree, comes from the family tree record. Now, think back to the filing cabinets. The blue represents the filing cabinet of the index stuff, and the green represents the filing cabinet of all of the pedigree charts we put together. So we just want to compare. If you look here, let's go down. So first it has William Bell. We know his name was William Mason Bell. And so that's okay, because they didn't all the time give their names in census records back then. Then if you look at birth, it says they're different. We have the birth for 1820 in Kentucky. And now it says 14 April 1819. What you need to know is when someone indexes, they put how old they were. And so if somebody had done this in, if they had taken the census before his birthday in April, let's say they did it in February, he would have been, I don't know, 20 years old, and they did a calculation and they say, oh, he was born in, or excuse me, 30 years old. They say, oh, he's born in 1820, but in reality it was 1819. It hadn't been his birthday yet. So we can say, okay, those two are probably good. So this looks like it's our William. Here's an interesting piece. It says, okay, because this is a census record, we know where he lived. He lived at the Fishing River Township in Clay County, Missouri, the United States. And so that's awesome. You'll notice it has an arrow that says add, because in the family tree, we didn't have that information. And so wherever there's an add arrow, you just want to hit add, and it immediately adds that piece of content to the family tree. I didn't even have to type it. It automatically puts it there. Now look here. It says spouses and children. There's an Elizabeth, a George, an Orrin, and a Lara in the family tree. Let's look down on what other things we had. So in some older censuses, it didn't always put their relationship to one another, but there's an Elizabeth. Now his wife, if we look back, was Elizabeth Riley, born in 1826. Well, her married name was Elizabeth Bell. It says 1825. Again, that's probably accurate. Now there's an Ann Bell. Interesting here. We don't show a daughter named Anne, but she could have been there. 1844, there was George, and then 1845 was when this Anne was born. So maybe, potentially, Anne was born after George. We have this Oni Bell, O-N-Y. That's weird, because we have an Orrin Bell up here. I'll bet if you've ever tried to read cursive, you can't always guess it right. Everybody has their own type of cursive. So whoever was indexing probably did Oni, and it was Orrin. Because we have that Laura E. Bell. Look, we have a Laura Ellen Bell. That's got to be it. So this is most definitely him. So the last thing we want to do, like I said, is paperclip those two files together. And so we're going to click Yes, Attach. Great. So now we've attached it. We know this is a record for William Bell. Now let's read this. It says, please compare and match the other people in the document with those in family tree. It would be pointless not to attach these people, and you want to attach everybody that we possibly can. So let's go through their family. First is Elizabeth Bell. Again, the name's different because it's her married name. That's okay. The birth is different. That's also okay, although it just has KY. Let's put Kentucky in there. Actually, if you click on that purple different, it actually pulls up that information and you can change it. Now, if I wanted to just put the information from the source, I could click on apply. I don't really want to do that. Instead, I'm just going to come here and type in Kentucky. Now, you want to click on it. Don't type it all out. Click on it from the drop down, because that way it makes it standardized. And then we can just hit save. Okay. Now, again, we want to add the information and then hit yes, attach. So now we've attached the wife. Now there's this and bell. Remember, we couldn't find an and bell in there. What likely happened is Anne was alive as a child. Maybe she died early, or maybe we just didn't find her soon enough. And so let's add her to the family tree. So it's saying, are any of these your Ann Bell? So I'm looking, none of them are born even around 1845. So I'm going to say no match at the bottom. And then it's saying, okay, are you sure none of these are the person you're looking for? Well, a lot of them are male, so no. Again, no one's really born around 1845. And so, look, it's even got her sister in there, but no, that's not her. And so we'll keep scrolling, and I'm going to say none of the above. So I'll just check that right next to none of the above. And then up in the top corner, I'll click on continue. Okay. Now, here we can add more information about Anne, but I don't know anything else about Anne other than what's in the box up there. I know her first name was Anne, her last name was Bell. She was born in 1845. I don't know a month or a year. She was born in Missouri. Let's correct Missouri really quick. And I'll just put Missouri, comma, United States, and we'll click on that. Next, I know she's dead because she was born in 1845. She'd have to be 155 years old, which that's just not even possible. So we'll just assume she's dead. And it has deceased indicated, then hit continue. It says there's no match for her, so she isn't already in the tree. And so we'll hit add. Awesome. We just added somebody to the family tree with little to no effort, just comparing things. It's almost like the memory match game as a kid. Okay. Oh, and also we want to make sure we put she lived in Fishing River in 1850, and then yes, attach. Okay, so there was her. Now, Oni Bell, this is interesting because they can't find the match, but I'll bet we can go and find Orrin. So hit add new person. Let's scroll down to the O's. There it is, Orrin Adolphus Bell, born in 1848, and it says 1850. That's okay. Within 2 years is normally okay because maybe they forgot how old he was by a year, and then the census or the indexer calculated it wrong, and that's okay. Within 2 years, it's most likely a match. Okay. So there is Orrin. So let's just hit continue, and it brings Orrin in. Now we don't want to change his name. We don't want to change his birthday. Although let's come in here on different, and he's on Clay County, Missouri. Let's just start typing Missouri. Oh. Let's go all the way back into Clay. The comma and SSOURI, Clay County, Missouri, and then we'll hit save. That's just good always to correct the information. Again, we want to add this information. Yes, attach. Awesome. Now we have Laura E. Bell, and so here she is. Missouri, 1849. That's definitely our Laura. Oh, and it already has her residence there. Perfect. So we'll hit yes, attach. And that's it. We just attached 4 records to the family tree, 5 records to the family tree, and we added one new person, which is awesome. Now, if we come here, this is kind of fun. If we go back here, you'll notice William just disappeared. But if we click on recents at the bottom, you'll see William Mason Bell. Now, here's what's cool about this. if we click on spouses, there are his children. Okay. Oh, now where did Anne go? Well, let's click on Elizabeth Riley. Look at her spouses. Oh, she was married twice. Nope, I'm not seeing Anne. Oh, there is an Annie Messinger. Again, that doesn't look quite right, though. She was born in 1857. She must have married Mr. Messinger after William Bell died in 1851. So let's go find that child that we just added. Let's do add child. And we'll go look up Annie. So it was Annie or Anne Bell. This is interesting. It should have added automatically, but because there was no relationships in the census, she wasn't there. We'll put deceased. And remember, her date of birth was 1845 in Kentucky. I believe it was. It may have been Missouri, though. I'm going to leave it blank. Oh, it won't let us. Missouri, United States. Okay. Oh, we have to indicate that she is female and then hit continue. There's Ann Bell. Oh, it says there's no match. Well, you know what we can do? Sorry. This is taking a little longer. Usually it is not this complicated. If you get stuck on something like this, feel free to give me a call. I'm happy to help you out, or our family history consultants. Let's go to sources for William Bell. Remember, we added the 1850 census. So here it is. This is everything we just added. Okay, we can actually go back in and review attachments. Skip over to Ann Bell. Remember, this person is the one we just added. If you click on, see where it says deceased, there's that G7ZDRGH. If you click on it, or hold your finger on it, you can hit copy. Then let's go back a few. Yeah, we're going to leave this. Go back to William and click on spouses, and we're going to add a child. See up at the top where it says add by ID, you would click on that, and we'll paste that ID number in. There she is, and we'll add a match. Add this person. Now again, normally it would do that by itself, but that's okay. Let's click on Ann Bell. Look, there is a green temple here. Now, we don't know if she lived past the age of 8. We know she lived past the age of 5 because we have that information from the census residents. I could go in and probably relatively easily go find out a little more about Anne. If I knew that she lived past the age of 8, then we can do her temple work. And I would just click on the green temple. Select yes, we want to reserve all of her information, and hit continue. Again, I'm not going to do that because we might need to verify a little more, but oftentimes you'll find a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old, you don't even have to verify that. They lived that long, and you can just get it. So anyway, I'm going to come all the way back. Let's go out to tasks. So tasks is a really easy way to add people to the family tree and do family history. Now, what if you come in and there's really nobody on this list? Well, if you come back out to the tree, one of the things you can do, if you're in the fan view, and you can set that fan view by clicking on more, clicking on settings, and then you can look at the pedigree view or the fan view, and you just pick which one. So you would click on pedigree, but we need to be in the fan view. hit more or go back to your tree. Okay, if you click on that little white circle down in the bottom right hand corner, look, there's different things that this tree will show. If you scroll all the way to the end and say research helps, it says anything in blue means they have record hints. And so you could easily, if you click back out of here, oh, let me go back. I'll swipe down on that. Those with blue have record hints for us to start. And so you can start there. The more people you come out here and look at and read through, and if I clicked on spouses and children, if I just began exploring a little bit, oh, I'm sorry, his parents and there's his brother, okay. If you come over to tasks and do an update like this, it will begin to populate people who have tasks who are related to people you've been looking at. And so that's a really easy way to quickly begin populating tasks, or just come back here all the way back and you can start working on those who are blue. Again, if you click on, there's Solomon Huber. He has an Illinois marriage, so I could go in and do that whole compare process. Again, the marriage record is on the right hand side or the left hand side, and the family tree is on the green side on the right hand side. That's definitely his wife, and they had a child, Abia. And so again, I could come in and hit attach. I'll just go through this quickly so you see how quick it goes. Sarah, that's definitely his wife, so yes, attach. Abia C. Huber, no new information here, so we'll just hit attach. Elisha R. Atwood was her husband. He was born in New York around 1830. Look, we can add marriage information. There's already some marriage information here, but I'm just going to add it. I can go back and clean it up later. And then there's Elisha's parents, or excuse me, the in-laws. You might as well add them too, since they're already there. Elvira, it's close enough, and hit attach. There, literally, I attached a record to 6 people right in about a minute here. And so hopefully you can see how easy this is. I'll jump out of here now and we can go back. But I hope that you'll take the time to play with this. It takes a little while to get comfortable with it, but the more you do it, the more easier it becomes. And it really can help you draw close to our Heavenly Father. He'll speak to you as you're doing His work. I know that's true. We love you guys, and we hope that you can feel the spirit of this and maybe incorporate this into one of the things you're doing during this quarantine time as we're away from one another. Please give me a call or one of the family history consultants a call. I know there are many other people in the ward too who are really good at this stuff who can help you out. Anyway, I'll just wrap it up there. I know that took a little longer than I wanted, but I testify that this is the Lord's work. And if we help the Lord in His work, we're entitled to His blessings in all areas of our lives. And I say that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.